We're going to go over to the seeder tab, up to the granular tank, and then the tank switch. And on the general setting, there is a preload time of 5 seconds. Make sure you enter a preload time of 5 seconds. If it's at 0, change it to 5. And fan speed to start, as a safety feature, we have that at 1000. For our testing today, we're going to set that to 0 so we can run some of the functions without having the fans running. But when you're testing in the field, you can have your fans running while you're doing these tests. Okay, so if we go down to tank 1, we have an on time to section location. That's the on time from the metering auger to the head on the front of the tank, the section control head. We recommend you start with about a second for each of your tanks, so make sure this is at 1 second. On and off for each of the tanks that's equipped with granular section control. Okay, one of the first things we're going to want to do is start that job. Well, first I mentioned that if the button is red, you touch it. So we'll touch that. The only thing the monitor's not happy with right now is the implement isn't calibrated. Okay, so obviously it's not because we have empty tanks. So, but we're going to start a job. To start a job, we touch on the guidance menu. Brings up this menu view, drag it over to the right. Brings up our guidance page. On the guidance page, it's a good idea to have this auto section control button on. When we're doing our testing, we have to have ASC off, so it'll work stationary. Otherwise, it won't let the tank turn on. We can have it limited to a field boundary or unlimited for testing. That's how we have that page. To set up a simple job, we just touch the job icon and the green one with plus, and that'll start a new job. I'm going to rename it and I'll call it test. Duplicate. I'll just give it test 2. Okay, that's all that's required to start a job. When we have GPS, we'll have a picture of the drill at the bottom with the sections. Okay, so we're going to go back over to our seeder page. We can get rid of some of these icons for now. Touch that one. To expand this, the first thing we're going to want to do is put product in each of these tanks. They're expanded now. If I touch there, I'm making them smaller. I have all 5 of my tanks selected. Okay, I have room to drag these around as I see fit. If I expand tank 1, select product, we're going to tack on, we'll go that test wheat. Shows the preset rate 1 and 2 in the increments. We did all that before. We're going to accept that. Fill the tank. No, not right now. We'll go over to 2, expand it. We'll just pick wheat again, that same wheat. Something to notice down here. Tells us the ranges we can achieve based on the cal factor that it has in there. Not going to fill the tanks. Expand 3. One of the smaller tanks, we'll select our canola. Preset rate of 5, secondary of 4, increments of 1. No filling the tanks. Expand 4. Our test wheat. And finally our tank 5. It's a small saddle tank. The low output auger. We'll put canola in it. Okay. Now you notice, now that we have products that had cal factors in them, it came up with a white master clutch because we disabled the fan speed to start. Now we can engage that clutch with it stationary. Now we want to test functions with the unit stationary. So I'll take the calibration off. We have a manual speed in there. We'll leave that in there. Speed is indicated down here. Our tanks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll make them a little bit smaller so they all fit on the same screen. Very busy up here. So it's recommended that you customize the dashboard down below so you can view a bunch of stuff on no matter what page you're on. To do that, you touch that. Now we're displaying on all of the 5 seating tanks. I could turn them off if I wanted. Customize like that. Now to change what's in each display, you notice tank 1 I have pounds per acre and RPM, and tank 2 I have pounds per acre, pounds left in the tank, and RPM. I can just simply touch that again and weight remaining, get rid of that. Up above the dashboard we have our pictures of our sections. You want to make sure each one is controlling the appropriate valves, touching them one at a time, moving across. Okay. Yellow is in a ready state, not seating. Red is off. Okay. So next we have to have, again, our fans running. So in simulation we're going to run it without it. We're going to have the metering system running. White indicator means it's all good to go. We're going to turn our tank clutches on, all of them. Then we're going to engage our master switch. Down at the bottom we can view the RPMs as they're going. Don't worry about the alarms that we're getting right now. We're going to want to touch our high rate. Listen to the shafts ramp up, back down, and back down. Okay, so on and so forth across the tanks. Our decrease and increase buttons. I'll turn the other tanks off other than tank 1 so you can hear it better. Increase, decrease. Remember from before we preset some buttons: increase, decrease, increase, and then decrease. Okay. You'd proceed to check all of your tanks appropriately. And it cycled the clutch off. Now we're going to test function C. I had that set to prime the augers. Runs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where you would use that function is to start from a standing stop. So product is coming before you're moving, but you're going to want to verify that it actually works. Okay, so notice our tanks are on 1 and 3. No need to have that up on the display. Now to check some of our auto section control features. We don't want to be looking at this seater page. We want to be looking at a guidance page. I've previously set up some global home screens. To set up a global home screen, you simply press and hold here, this portion of the screen, and then I can add one. And I'll just call this one test. Okay. I set up some before, so I set up one called seating, calibration, area, and guidance. I'll flip over to the guidance page. So now we're looking at a page with the back of the air seeder and the tanks, as well as this auto section control button. We have a virtual switch box here. We can enable that, and we could turn off our tank. These all move up. Whoop. There. Now we can check our sections for our tank. This is where you want to have some product, or verify that each one is going to the appropriate section. So we'll be turning them on and off one at a time to verify operation and or function. Our map, we're looking at GPS quality. We'll change it to coverage granular or one of the tanks, right? So when we have GPS speed in, we'll have our indicator down here. As well, we'll have another switch box up top if required. Okay, checking your sections is a two-person job. You need one person in the cab pressing the section switches and a second person back by the valves, ensuring they're functioning properly. So, and then you'll hit 1, then 2, or 3. Appropriate valves are opening and closing for each identified section.